Welcome to Brett Ridgeway's Learning for Life video series, and in this hammer dulcimer lesson we are going to be learning to play a little bit of backup. A few weeks ago somebody had requested this, and I don't always teach things like this, but I think this would be good just for some basic information. So what we're going to do is take the tune Will the Circle Be Unbroken. I don't consider myself a singer, so I apologize ahead of time for that part of the lesson. But I'm going to place a backup, and this is going to be very, very simple. And it'll go over 2 or 3 lessons, and as we get farther along, we'll get a little fancier and a little bit more advanced. But we're just going to start very, very simply so that you can understand how this is going to work. So here we go. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. So let me show you what I did there. And again, this is very simple. We'll get fancier. We'll expand our boxes. But really what I did, if you remember when you're singing, or actually in a song, if you're in the key of D, and that's what I just played that in, you have 3 chords, the 1st, 4th, and 5th. So it's going to be D, G, and A. So here is your D box, here is your G box, and here is your A box. And what I did is I just played 1, 3, 5, 8. And if you remember our chords, that's a D chord, this is a G chord, and this is an A chord. And any combination of that is a D chord. And we also added this note. So if you remember some of my past lessons and you need to go back and review those, all I did was you're keeping your timing and you're playing your D. Will the D, 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 G, 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 D, 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 A, D. So you can either play that as a chord. There's your D chord. And what I'm doing is just moving my left hand here. If you wanted to move your right, you could go. If you want to use both. And you will do that in the same box, so it's wherever you switch. Or you could arpeggiate. So I played that in D. If we moved it up and it's a little too high for me to sing, you do the same thing. And again, you can get a lot fancier, but this is just very basic. I just want you to understand the basics of what you're doing when you're playing backup. Now, you can also, instead of moving all over your instrument, and that's really what we're going to do, we're going to expand that so that when you do a D chord, you're actually, and you can use all of that, but let's condense it before we expand it. So let's move to the key of G. simply because some don't have the A down here, but to the key of G. And what we're going to do is, we've got your G box here, your C here, and your D here. Now, I know there's E minors. We'll get to all that later. Again, I just want to give you some basics. You can find that G in this G box, but you can also find the C in this box. So when you're in the G box, and again, the G is the first chord, the C is the fourth chord, and your D is the fifth chord. And I'll put a link to that explanation at the end of this if that confuses you. The point is, you have G, C, and D, and we're going to put all three into this box. So your G is your regular box chord or triangle. To find the C in this box, you're going to play your first, your fourth, and your sixth. So you have G, you have C, and you have E. So here's your C. Here's your C, but you have it here. So you could be going, and again, this is high for me. Circle, be unbroken, by and by, Lord, by and by. Back to G. There's a better, see how that worked? Will the circle G be unbroken, by and C, G. Okay, now your D, so your G is 1, 3, 5, 8, or the first, third, fifth, eighth note of your scale. Your C in this G box is going to be your first, fourth, and sixth, and your D is going to be this, we'll say the fifth, it's a D, but it's the fifth note, the second, and then one below one. So this triangle. So technically you have three triangles. This one here, you have this triangle, and you have this triangle. Moving it down to D, we have the same thing. Here's our D chord. And then if you play 1, 4, and 6 in here, you have a G chord. And then if you move it down and you play 1 below 1, 2, and 5 here, you have your A chord. So just for the sake of me being able to sing it a little better, will the circle be unbroken, by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. So I hope that's helped. So I've showed you these triangles here and how you can condense them into one block or in one box here. But I want to show you something if you're just starting, if you've never done this before, and even that seems confusing. Let me give you something that is so very simple that as a very beginner, if that's where you're starting out, that you can do as well, just within that box, but breaking it down from 3-note chords to just 2-note. So, you know, we showed you the different triangles. We have the triangle here, or a box if you want to add that, but you have this triangle, which is a G. You have this C triangle, and you have this D triangle. So we're using 3 notes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's just use 2 notes, and we're going to use the highest notes of those chords. So here's what we're going to do. Here's our G. We're going to hit the 5 and the 3. That's a G chord. If you move both hammers up, so now you're playing 6 and 4, you have a C chord. Go back down, we have G again. And then our D, we're just going to lower the right hammer, so now we're playing 5 and 2. And again, this is really, really basic, and just this is the tip of the iceberg where we're starting if you are still confused by the triangles. So let's move it down into D. Same idea. D, G, D, A. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. So if you're just starting, that's just something to start with. Play along with other songs and just play that back up just with those two note chords. I hope you understand that. It's very basic, very simple. We'll get fancier with it in the next lesson, but I wanted you to understand how your chords and how your boxes work and how you can condense them into one box with a very simple method of playing backup. All right, have fun with that. Hope you enjoy it. We will see you on the next lesson. Thanks for watching. And please please share, please like, please comment. All 3 of those things are vital to these lessons and very, very much appreciated. Thank you so much.